right, August monthly recap. I'm happy to say I broke a new record again, back to back, pretty big months. And I had a huge month last month. And somehow I beat that this month, which is pretty crazy because the first week of August, I couldn't get much going. And then Amazon, Tesla, some of those names picked up, the high flyers that I like to trade, put together a record month. Very happy about it. And so I am an options scalper. 98% of my trades, I'm trading options and I'm scalping options. And I'm trading the big high flyer momentum names. And I'm just taking the quick moves because the quick moves on those are points. So when I'm taking 5, 10 contracts at a time, even though it's a scalp and I'm in and out pretty quick, it can be $1,000, $2,000 trades. So there's not a lot to it. And it's not this, let me hold every single trade and let me hold a winner and try to ride it out from, and get the whole entire move. I like to be in and out as quick as possible just because I kind of don't trust the market. So that's what my personality is, and that's what works best for me. And just accepting the fact that I'm a scalper and not trying to hold every single winner along the way is really what allowed me to turn the corner, because I used to always try to hold winners and they always came back on me. And every time they came back on me, I did the thing that probably a lot of people do is I would start to hold it because I saw that I was up on the position and now I'm red. I don't want to get rid of it now. I was just green on it. And then that's when all the problems would always start. So I could make money pretty quick, or at least, be profitable on the trade pretty quick. And I usually just always gave it back. So when I just started taking those quick take the quick profits and not really be too emotional or worried about what it does after the fact, that's single-handedly what's allowed me to put up some big months. Now going into the month, my name, August 1, August 31st, I did trade stock a little bit. Every now and then I'll hop into like 100, 200 shares on a name if the options aren't great, just because I still want to be involved in the trade if there's a setup there. I made $484 trading stock. And then options that's 98% of my trades are options. And I'm just, once again, I'm cycling through the same group of names every single day. And then I'm just trying to find, daily patterns, technical patterns that are tight. And then where the momentum is. So day 1 moves, day 2 moves. Once they start to get to day 3, day 4, I don't want to continuously chase them up. So I leave that alone. And then just trying to tie the pattern. So opening range breaks and flags right around those major key technical levels where I think that it can catch some momentum. And then that's all I'm doing. A lot of trades, a couple big ones. So Amazon, look at that, $14,000 of P&L came from Amazon alone. So out of the $24,000 I made, 14 of it came from Amazon. And then there's, $1,100, $560, $590, minus $300, $1,700, $426, $705. Overall, up until about right here, everything is fine. Some winners, some losers, some big winners. Some of the negatives are in the beginning of the month, after the first week, I started to overtrade Tesla a little bit. So I've noticed that I can kind of overtrade a little bit, even when I have the goal of, all right, I want to try to take less trades. Sometimes I can build up a habit of taking more trades than I need to, trying things numerous times in a row, or every now and then trade just during a time zone, during call it the lunch hour. That's just not the best time to trade. So there's still those mistakes that I have. I suffer from the same things that everybody else suffers from. The difference now is I just do it less. I'm able to step in front of myself the moment I feel myself getting a little out of control, and then just don't go down that rabbit hole pretty deep like I used to. But just going into the Tesla, well, there were some pretty big losses. Had some big wins, $6,600, 6,000, minus 3,000, minus 6,000. But there were some decent losers on Tesla. So over trading it a little bit, but overall still doing okay on the name. And all the options led to $23,766 in profit. Total $24,250 minus the $4.50 in data fees, $24,246 in P&L, which is crazy because that's a huge number. When I first started, I dreamed of putting up a month like that. And here's just some takeaways on how I even got to being able to put up a number like that. So in my prior video, I remember touching on a topic that I think is really important where, it's not making X per day. It's really swinging pretty hard at your A plus setups when they're there, because volatility is going to come and go. The technicals won't always align if you're a technical trader like I am. I'm 90% technical, sprinkle in a little fundamental, and that's pretty much my style. So majority of the P&L will come from a handful of days. And what I've noticed is it even comes from just a handful of names. So not only the days, but the names. So most of my P&L came from Tesla and Amazon. And the majority of it came from just Amazon alone, just waiting. The $10,000 day here was waiting for that all-time high break on Amazon. And I took 10 contracts long off the open, got $10 on them because Amazon had a sick move to new all-time highs. And then I took the scalp and that was it. There's something to be said about, not approaching the market the same way every single day. I used to do that. I would wake up and just because it was another day and I saw a handful of names moving, I would try to play them with the same expectations as any other day, versus now being able to kind of take the whole story, the whole picture. What is SPY and QQQ doing? Are we extended from the 8-day? Is it the 4th, 5th, 6th day up in a row? Because this market's a little crazy. And if it's starting to get extended, then I'm not necessarily going to have the same expectations of, real serious follow through on some of the patterns that I like to trade. So just being able to ebb and flow. And then also noticing, hey, we're on day 5, 6. There's probably a chance that a pullback is going to eventually happen. So maybe the next time the SPY and the Qs gap down, that's a day where there could be a washout. And then once it resets and it starts to build again, okay, now look for flag patterns on dailies, look for technical levels. But I used to never really do that. I was really guilty of just seeing, okay, here's a specific name gapping down. Let me look for the short. And I never factored in other circumstances. Like if we are in an incredibly bullish market, it doesn't make sense to focus heavily on the short side. Yes, are names moving down? Can there be short opportunities found in very specific names or quick breakdown patterns? Sure. But overall, this market currently is so strong that there is no reason to try to find shorts for me. I'm not the best short in the world. And just in general, I think shorting is tough. So trying to short names in a market that is so strong, it's a crazy bull market, there's no edge there. Even if, I can be quick and scalp real fast, I just think that that's a bad habit. And I used to do that before. I didn't factor in that, hey, this is a very strong market. The conditions are buy the dip by pretty much any means. And until that changes, there's no reason to fight it. Just some of the key takeaways from being able to see just a lot of progress relatively quickly. For anybody who's followed me, you've seen the progress being made within the last 6 to 8 months, where it's been going really fast. And it's still all kind of new to me, but it's also just because of feeling really good about what I'm doing, having a really good process, being able to tie the big picture in together every single day, by having a top-down approach, starting with SPY and Qs, and then starting with the group of names that I like, and then starting from their dailies, and then working down to 30 and 5-minute, jotting down the major technical levels I see to the upside, to the downside, and then finding those very specific opening range break and flag patterns on the 1 minute so I can try to get the best entry possible, and then doing that consistently every single day. And that's what's allowed me to really turn the corner and then kind of see some exponential growth, because some of these numbers are big. I couldn't imagine ever putting up a $10,000 day. And it was just aligning everything top down and then not being scared to swing the bat. And also adding, a bigger account in there has allowed me to have a little bit of breathing room to feel better about taking those shots, especially on names that are a little bit more expensive, like Amazon, like Tesla. And I'm pretty happy that Tesla did a stock split, because a lot of my big losses in the prior months came from Tesla because it was at a crazy price. So if you trade it, when you lose, the losses are going to be pretty big. Now, even though it's still a crazy mover, it's at a much more reasonable price. The option spreads are a lot tighter. The liquidity is still great. So when trading Tesla, I won't have to worry about taking some of these huge hits like I did before. So I appreciate that the stock was split. And even though I put up a really big month trading these names, I also am able to take a step back and realize that my expectations can't be the same every single month. I would love to continuously just break records every single month, but I know that's not the case. And I also know that the current market environment is incredibly easy to trade. This is arguably one of the easiest markets that I've ever traded. So I'm just taking advantage of it while it lasts. I'm riding the wave until eventually that wave comes crashing down, if it ever does. Regardless, the market is incredibly hot right now. I'm taking advantage. Hopefully you're taking advantage of it too. And that's some of my takeaways and the recap of the month. Hopefully you had a good month as well. I appreciate you watching. Till next time, later.